Meanwhile, the United Nations says more than 100 former peacekeepers from Ethiopia do not want to return home out of fear of persecution. The peacekeepers are from the conflict-hit region of Tigray. They were part of a recently closed UN mission in Darfur. They now have sought international protection and applied for asylum in Sudan. In February, another group of Ethiopian peacekeepers in South Sudan, who are also from Tigray, refused to go home, saying they feared persecution. All right, so let's discuss this further. We are joined by Dr. Hassan Khannenje, the director of the Horn Institute. He joins us via Zoom from Nairobi. Dr. Khannenje, thank you very much for joining us. So this is quite unprecedented from peacekeepers from Ethiopia. Do we know of any such previous cases?
It's unprecedented but not surprising. Now, there is nothing that we know, especially in recent UN peacekeeping missions, that took place to this magnitude. But given what has been happening, especially the recent attempts to purge the military of the Tigray forces, this move was expected in many respects.
So what options are there, especially for the United Nations, to defuse the situation?
Right now, United Nations doesn't have mechanisms established to be able to deal with such situations because, as you mentioned, this situation again is unprecedented. However, it can appeal to the Ethiopian government to stop this practice because it's going to greatly affect the morale of the service, but also curtail UN missions, elsewhere. And since Ethiopia is one of the largest troop contributing countries on the continent, it is in their interest, of course, to be able to change that policy. And so what the UN can do in the immediate is to use the tools at its disposal diplomatically or through the Security Council to appeal to the government to stop this policy, which of course is going to be harmful to peacekeeping missions in the region and elsewhere in the world.
And you took me right into my next question, Dr. Khannenje. What are the implications on other Tigray peacekeepers in other UN missions?
I do not think it's going to be inspiring or a morale booster if they of the knowledge that they may be purged any time. And so this critically is going to affect, and I'm sure it's already affecting the mission in the AMISOM mission in Somalia when it comes to the Ethiopian contingent and elsewhere on the continent. But also Ethiopia, which has enjoyed a lot of privileges to do with the UN peacekeeping mission, is going to suffer from credibility. And so it's going to be unable for Ethiopia perhaps to credibly be able to contribute to peacekeeping missions if there is a sense that some of its citizens or its forces may be purged because of political reasons. And so those are kind of the immediate implications that they're going to have. But I think in long-term implications is the continent may lack the capacity to be able to deploy forces, especially when it's arriving, especially when these forces are politicized from the source countries. And so the UN may have to establish perhaps an independent control and command structure that is outside the national policy that of the sending countries. Because in the absence of that, then we're likely to see this happen perhaps a few more times before a policy framework is put in place.
All right, Dr. Hassan Khannenje, we appreciate those insights. Thank you very much for your time.